Welcome to
Split the Defense,
where Jordan Webster, Ted Evans, and Craig Pearce talk about the NHL and all things hockey.
Split the Defense
Can be found wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. It's also broadcasted on Amherst Island Radio, 101.3 FM, and online at CJAI.CA.
Welcome, Split the Defense Hockey Podcast. Jordan Webster, Craig Pearce, producer Ted Evans. We are welcoming listeners in from the greater Kingston area as we broadcast from the Chumley's Kingston Tower of Power on Amherst Island Radio, 101.3 FM, CJAI, and CJAI.CA. What's up, boys? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. The Leafs won. Let's start with the Leafs. Get into them.
All right.
I was happy about it for sure.
I bet.
Yeah. So it made my weekend. Do you guys have a good weekend?
Yeah, I actually I had quite the experience watching that game because I watched the first period and then I went out.
And then you left. You just left the game.
And so I didn't watch anything, but I knew that the group chat was just going off. And so I got to come home, be expecting a very disappointing game, and ended up very happily, unexpectedly. So it was a good game in the end.
Right on. So
That's
take
awesome.
us away, Teddy.
All right, yeah. So what we had, the Leafs beat Tampa 4-3 in OT, for anyone who doesn't know. But what I want to hear from you guys about is in that game, Sammy got pulled, and Woll got the win. So let's take a listen to this clip first, okay?
It's actually about Woll.
He's great, man. He really kind of reminds me of Carey Price's demeanor. He's very calm and relaxed, and both on and off the ice. And big body, moves really technically sound. I mean, I'm not a goalie coach by any means, but he's outstanding. And obviously the first few on Sammy weren't his fault. I mean, those are some elite goal scorers making some elite plays, and wasn't his fault at all. But just to kind of shake things up, and then Waller came in was really a stone wall. So it's great to see.
Have you got to know Joseph very well? Like, what's he like off the
Yeah,
ice? How would you describe him? He's
great, man. He's like I said, he's very similar to Price. He's just super low key, super humble, and just wants to do his job and be a great teammate and have fun. So it was great to see tonight.
Yeah. So what do you guys think about Domi's comments there? Start with CP. What do you think, man?
Yeah, that's quite the compliment. Wall said that Carey Price was his favorite goalie growing up. So, I mean, I don't think it's by accident maybe that he looks a little bit like him. You know, he talked about just like his poise, but also his athleticism to make like the desperate play. So, I don't think it's by accident that this comparison. I wonder even if Domi knows that Carey Price is his favorite goalie. But it didn't come to mind to me, but I can't disagree with what he said. What about you, Evan?
Quite the name drop. Holy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? Isn't that kind of like, wow. All right, well, thanks, Max. And Joe's such a humble guy, like he said. Like, he's really not going to take any of that to heart, and that's why I included the last half, because I knew we'd say that. But he's not going to go to his head. Like, Joe Woll took that game over, and he was absolutely amazing. He stuck in it and gave them a chance to win. Man, it was a great game. Did you end up watching the end after you got back, CP?
Oh yeah. I watched every minute of it for sure. Yeah. I was so impressed. He had to put on a performance really to keep the Leafs in there, right? Like that wasn't a game that he just got to walk through. He had to make a few really big stops. So.
Well, yeah, and even Sheldon Keefe had some stuff to say on Woll as well. Let's take a quick listen to that too as well, boys.
Think of how Woll was able to kind of step in and just kind of keep everything.
Yeah, outstanding. I mean, these are not easy times, right? To come into a game like that, and really, there's no margin for error, and for him to stand his ground the way that he did, was great. You know, and he's been great. I thought he played well in the start that he's had, and practice this week he was outstanding and competitive, and see him step in and do the job for our guys tonight was really huge. Another young guy coming up in a big moment for us.
Do you foresee him maybe playing more than anticipated this road trip?
Well, we'll see. I mean, he was scheduled to play in Washington, anyways, but so he's definitely going to go next game, and we'll just keep building and stacking up good days. Has been the message to him, and to me, he took advantage of every practice shot and rep that he had all week, and looked great. I think kind of sent a message to the group that he's hungry, and because of that work, he was ready for tonight, even though he wasn't supposed to play. So that's a great sign for a young player, and really happy for him.
And I guess the hope would be that then he pushes Sam off a little bit too.
Well, he's pushing. That's it. That's what you want. You want everybody pushing one another, and that's what we've got.
Going into the goalie switch decision there, the puck's going in. It's still relatively early. Can you kind of take us through the thought process?
You can't let in 3 goals on 4 shots. It's just that's it.
First goal, I think it was like coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hungry like
so
the wolf.
juicy.
So juicy. This is a Keith Unleashed.
Yeah, so much in one clip. I just had to put it all in one clip. Oh, it was so great. It was back to back to back to back. I was like, this is crazy. Like you can't let 3 goals in on 4 shots. No, you can't. And Keith isn't exactly a lover of the goalies. If you watched that Leaf documentary from Amazon, All or Nothing, and ended up being nothing, by the way. But if you watch that, he was cursing Curtis Sanford, saying, "Can we just get a save?" And I'm on his side. I'm no goalie. I'm not technical, and I know there's more to it than that. And the guys out there say what they say. Like Max Domi, he had no problem with it, right? Like he was like, "Oh, those are tough goals that he let in on skilled players. Like there's not much you can do on a few of those shots. Like it's not Sammy's fault, right? It's us for the defensive breakdowns." Which, if you looked, the defensive breakdowns were horrible on those goals, but Joseph Woll stood tall every opportunity he needed to, right?
Yeah.
I think that man's going to end up stealing this job.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I did like Sammy's attitude after when the reporters asked him. He basically said like it's a learning opportunity for him. Just summarizing, but Joseph Woll coming in, that's tough to do. And I agree. Like I'm no goalie coach, but like we need a save. You can't let in 3 out of 4. I don't care who you are. Like, I don't care if like you got pushed out of the net. Just figure it out. There's a certain point where, 2 out of the 3, I think he was kind of hung out to dry. 1, I think, was totally savable. But there's just like it's one of those things that I might be it might be putting too much on the goalies, but you just need the save. That's it.
Well, yeah. 3, like he said, I think Sheldon put it great. You can't let in 3 goals on 4 shots. So
no.
But he's pushing. He's pushing, right? He's hungry like the Woll.
Woll's gonna play in Washington. He said he was already scheduled.
Yeah.
But I wonder if he was already scheduled. Like we don't know who's scheduled to play already.
Yeah, no.
Right? So,
I wondered the
but
exact
maybe
same
there are
thing.
people that could hold them liable to them saying that publicly. But Woll's gonna get a shot here. Like he might take that job.
Yeah.
So
for sure. Speaking of some other switch-ups, Leaf lineups, Fraser Minton was a healthy scratch for the first time this season, leading to a new look for the bottom 6. And I mean, there's been lots of line juggling, and everyone seemed to play with everyone so far. But there's a third line of Nyes, Kampf, and Domi. Nyes goes out, nets 2, and adds an assist. Domi assisted on both of Nyes' goals. What are your thoughts on that group playing together more? CP, what do you think on that group?
It's funny because like Kampf was on the line. He almost had nothing to do with the 2 goals that happened. So I'm not sure how much he had to do with it. I know that like there's more to hockey than the actual play that was there, but he was on the ice, but I'm not sure that he fits that line. Like it's a kind of Nyes and Domi make sense to me. One's a playmaker and one's a scorer, but Kampf is a defensive shutdown guy. And so like I wonder if this line develops more into a second line where John Tavares is in between the 2 of them. And then you now have Kampf on the third line and, make up the defensive third line that you want. Nobody wanted Kampf to be the third line center. We all wanted him to be the fourth line center. But this is kind of the cards that were dealt. And for now, I think
I don't
that
think I don't think they can be a second line. Like I think they're only going to be successful as a third line. I think that's why they were successful is because they were playing against that kind of competition, right? They were playing those few minutes. I think if they're playing second line minutes with John Tavares, that they're going to be out and get exposed. Domi and Nyes. They're good players, both good players, but I just don't think that they're ready for top six. Like I think individually they could complement top six, but I don't think the pair of them you put them up there with John Tavares because who's playing defense?
Yeah, that is a good point. Like it is kind of a defensive liability at that time. I think I want to see more of it and see if David Kampf is a guy who's contributing in maybe just the defensive way and lets the two kids, or well, I guess Domi's not a kid, but Domi and Nyes let them create, and it's a safe line now with Kampf on it. But we just haven't seen it.
I kind of like it actually, and if Kampf could create with the right people, if you remember when he was with Engvall and Mikheyev, their goals for percentage or whatever was like 75. Like 75% of the chances always went their way. So I'm gonna say they won the crap out of their minutes, right? There wasn't very much chances, and like their actual scoring wasn't completely skewed, and that stat wasn't usable. It was relatively similar. Like it was nuts.
You're just never going to get a contribution from Kampf on the offense. So, like, if Domi and Nyes are fine to do it all, then that's good. But, like, Kampf has kind of stones for hands, and he's great in the corners.
Yeah, he's great in the corners. He can dig a puck out, maybe fish it. And one of those other guys can be one of the hang-around guys, the guys that are just waiting out front. You know what I mean? At the top, in the slot. Somewhere else waiting for a kick-out pass, and Kampf goes into the corners. And then he goes back and he plays in the other end, too, because the man does CrossFit for breakfast.
Yeah.
Like, he can skate from end to end, no problem. He's a machine, right?
Yeah.
I think it's great. Defensive, he has played with offensive players like the Mikheyev, Engvall line when they were really good, creating chances all the time.
They were both defensive, though, right? Like, that was a defensive line. They just won their minutes more. And it just happened that once in a while, the guys that could
But they always looked like good. Do you remember? They actually looked good. Like, they scored goals that year. All of them scored goals that year, and they looked decent.
Yeah, I'll point out that Mikheyev scored most of those goals, you know, where like maybe that's what this can be. I just
from a Canucks fan
who actually got a point in his first game with the Canucks, just came back. But I just want to see more of it. I think I'm not saying it's bad or good. I just need to run it out there.
Fair. Got to see those. Got to see the minutes. Got to see them put up the minutes and see what happens. And speaking of minutes, of course, we've got Gregor, Holmberg, and Reeves on the fourth line. Played like 6 minutes each. So is that a good amount of time for these guys, or do we need more minutes from the fourth? Let's start with you, Jordan.
I think it's just about right. If
Goldilocks.
We had a better fourth line, then I'd like to play them more. In a perfect world, your fourth line does play more, but. And we have tried, let's not play Austin Matthews that much and, shelter him and save him. We didn't win. We've tried, let's play him all the time, except for the penalty kill, right? And we saved him. Now we're trying, let's do everything with Austin Matthews on the ice at all times, all situations, no matter what. 4-on-4, 3-on-3, 5-on-5, 5-on-4, 4v5, it don't matter. We are playing with Austin Matthews on the ice. They've tried every kind of combination. And I think that they kind of need this line, but it needs to have an identity, right? Like it needs to have a thing that it does. Is it a checking line?
Yeah.
Is it a really possessive forechecking line? Is it going to be fast? It's not going to be fast with Ryan Reeves on there, so we know that, right? It's not going to be this weird scoring line that the Leafs have had in the past. So what's this 6 minutes going to do? I think this 6 minutes really needs to go out and be physical and change the game, change the mood of the game, right? So in those 6 minutes, in those, that's 12 shifts in a game, you might get 30 seconds on the ice, right? That's a normal shift, 30 seconds. So we'll say you get 12. In those 12 shifts, you have to start going out on shift 1 and pestering the other team. You got to pester and pester until they want to fight you, until they're broken down, until there has to be a role for each of those fourth line guys that they fill. And I just don't know what it is right now.
Yeah, it seems to me like a line that doesn't have a kind of an identity either. I think if you just switch Holmberg, if you were to find just like someone who's just a grittier centerman, then it does have an identity, and I'm okay with 6 minutes because we want to run our horses out. You know, you pay them the big bucks to win you the games. Austin Matthews has always wanted to be a guy that can control a game. That was his biggest complaint when he had Mike Babcock, is he got played 18 minutes a night. When this guy wants to play a lot, he wants to control the game. I think he was on the penalty kill because he wants to be there. Run with your top guys, Willie, John Tavares, even obviously Marner. Just play them as much as you can. You obviously don't want to a detriment where it's going to, affect you in the playoffs. But I think as long as they're comfortable playing, play them. And this fourth line is just going to go out there, and I want at least 4 or 5 hits every time they're on the ice to, shake things up. Maybe snow the goalie. Just ruffle some feathers while you're out there.
That's what I mean. Yeah, go out there, cause a ruckus. You get 12 shifts from shift 1. After shift 1, you go sit down, you have 11. If you haven't done anything to tick anybody off in that first shift, you only have 11 more shots. Go out there and make a difference. Otherwise, we got a bunch of dogs in the AHL who will.
Yeah. And like I even saw Reeves didn't really do his job, and he wasn't on the ice very much at that point, but Willie kind of got ruffled up a bit. And that's when I want that fourth line to have the next shift and set the tone. That's not okay. Just Reeves go and grab anybody.
Tone.
Doesn't even have to be.
You watching a bit of Shoresy there, CP?
It slipped out, and as soon as it did, I was like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah. We can tell you've been
set the
watching
tone,
Shoresy.
boys.
Oh, yeah, set the tone, boys. Yeah,
That's right.
Fill them up or light them up or fill them in.
Yeah, that's right.
That's good.
Yeah.
Oh my
perfect.
God. All right, I've got a clip as well from Sheldon Keefe on this game.
We stayed with it. I was happy to see our guys get rewarded because I thought we played a good game. I thought even in the first period, I thought we played a good period. Yes, the goalie playing the way that he was, and Tampa playing as hard as they were. You thought maybe the time was going to run out for us, but like I said, I was glad to see the guys get rewarded. I thought we played a good game here.
Good game? Yeah, I think so. Against the Lightning, Jordan, you said it felt like Calle Jarnkrok was always on the ice, even though he only logged 15-13 of ice time in Saturday's game. That's 2 minutes less than what he played against Florida on Thursday. So how do you guys feel about Calle Jarnkrok in the top 6? What do you think, Jordan?
I don't like it.
No, eh?
Not a fan. I don't know, maybe. Only with Matthews and Marner? Does that make any sense? Because I don't want him with Tavares and Nylander. I don't think that's going to work. But he did kind of work with Matthews and Marner, right?
Yeah. He's worked with Matthews a few times with, I think with Willie and with Marner. This is where I was kind of talking about with the, maybe the third line becomes defensive with Kampf. If you swapped Kampf and Tavares, then I kind of like the third line of Kampf, Jarnkrok, and Bertuzzi. That seems like a line that I could get behind. And Bertuzzi might not like that. I don't know why I think that, but just because it's not a lot of offense for him, right? But yeah, Calle Jarnkrok to me is a guy he's can be a middle 6 player, but to me he's like a third line player, and he's a guy who can produce a lot from the third line. You can get 20 goals out of him, but I'm not so hot on him being on either the first or second line.
Maybe if you had a third line playmaking center for Bertuzzi and Jarnkrok, because then you could have a scoring third line. But as a defensive third line with Kampf there, that's just weird. I'd rather Domi and Nyes, who are just gonna go and do their own thing. They're just gonna wheel, right? And they're both pretty good. Domi has really good vision. Nyes is just very physically good and very skilled. I don't even know what this kid is yet, but he's amazing in everything I've seen him do.
Yeah.
He was dipsy doodling a lot at the beginning of the season. He seems to have taken that out of his game, and he's just went back to really playing a more solid game. And he looks good in every single battle. Every shift he takes is great. So I think if you had somebody a new third line center, if Nick Robertson could effectively play center, right? And he actually, and you could shelter them, then you could put something like a Nick Robertson, because he scores, right? But we don't have anybody in the system right now. You can't put Nick Robertson there. I get that, but who else would you put? So Fraser Mitten's not going to be around forever. Who's going to be the other guy that comes up and goes down. It's probably going to be Robertson. I mean, he's lighting up the AHL. So like, I don't know if you're going to have those guys on there, I feel like they're too complementary. You need a center, and maybe that guy's not even here yet.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can only play the cards you're dealt, and right now you got to talk to the dealer and try and get a new card, because we're missing that piece of the hand, right? Like, any way that we jumble this around, we're always like, oh yeah, but the second line does this, and then, oh yeah, if you take that guy, then the third. We're missing one guy, and that guy is a third line center. Ryan O'Reilly would have been amazing, but he had to go off and play in Nashville. But there's a missing piece, and I think this is where you either put Kampf there, this line becomes like just a defensive-ish. Maybe you have the Domi and Nyes matchup until we can get someone else. But until that point, it's kind of like a mishmash of lines at this point. So,
yeah,
it really is. I wonder where they're going to settle.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Obviously, offense, defense. Here's one for you. Jake McCabe. Is he becoming a liability? What do you think, CP?
I mean, maybe slightly. He needs to learn his role. That's his problem. Like, that guy, doesn't realize that he's putting his defensive partner out of place way too many times. He's not that great at pinching, and he needs to be the defensive guy on a line. And he doesn't seem to understand that. He's a guy that's kind of frustrating me at the moment, because I see all the tools that he could be really good. And I love it when he lights a guy up, but he's not doing great, and it's because of his play style, I think, not as much as his skills. So, yeah, he's a guy at the moment. I didn't want him to be a guy you had to shelter on the third pair, but he's looking like he might be becoming.
What do you think, Webby?
If there's anybody out there who looks like they need a goal, it's Jake McCabe. They just need some things to go right for him. Like, Jake McCabe needs a hat trick, and then just like to go out there and have a good few games where he doesn't get scored on, and then Jake McCabe will settle back into being the player that we all know he is. He's putting a lot of pressure on himself, I think, to be good. And I think he's overplaying his role right now. I think that's all it is. Like, he's a great player, and he has the potential to be an amazing role player, like top tier role player. But if he's trying to go out of his way to do things like Morgan Riley or somebody else, it's like we told Morgan Riley to jump up in the pinch, and Jacob McCabe's like, oh, okay, me too.
Yeah,
right.
Like,
so
that's not who you are. Look at what Luke Shen did last year, and try and be more like that. Don't be like Riley. Be like Luke Shen.
Stay home.
Yeah, stay home. Do the simple things.
Yeah, no, that's a good reference right there. So the Leafs, obviously, struggling offensively and defensively. They sit in fourth place in the Atlantic after 5 games. 19 goals for and 19 goals against. So which of those are you more worried about? What do you think, Webby?
The goals for. Can we get some goals? Like, yeah, I know a save. Like, I'd love a save too, but and the Minnesota game was great, but could we get a goal? Like,
who are you, Ray Ferraro?
Like,
I'd like to say, but give me the goals. Yeah, no, sorry. That just reminded me of that quote.
Honestly, though, like every single game, I'm just like, can we please just like put 3 in the first period? I don't even care if they score 2 when we go back and it's 3-2 after the first. But can you guys just pot 3 in the first and then another couple in the second? Like, let's just have a couple of games where you score 5. Show me you can score 5 and 6 on these teams, and like, I want to see it happen. It's really the offense that worries me the most.
Yeah.
What about you, CP?
To me, it's the defense. I feel like I'm maybe a guy that focuses on defense too much, but I want a defense that you can rely on, and this is far from it. Like, this is a huge work in progress defense. I don't think that at least 2 of these guys are going to be here. The only ones I really like, Brody and Riley, seem to have really picked it up, and they have been a reliable pair. They have always complemented each other, and TJ Brody seems like he hasn't fallen off. And Mark Giordano, that guy's a friggin' warrior. Like, the other night when he took a puck off the knee and then he makes a diving clear, like, there's 3 guys in this lineup that I think deserve to be. And I've seen flashes from Liljegren that he can be maybe a third line pair, and on a cup team. But it's a real work in progress at this point. And I would, if it we're not going to be, filling them up, we need to be protecting our net.
Maybe filling them
go. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be nonstop Shoresy references from CP now.
Yeah.
This is good. We turned him right onto it. I mean, that was a perfect, as a producer, I got to say it was a great answer. I asked 2 options and you each took an option. That's perfect. And I feel a little spoiled as an Avs fan on that because go score 5-6 goals a game, we do that. Solid defense, we got that. I know those things you guys are worried
what a machine.
about, but I'm a little spoiled. Sorry.
Yeah.
But Nylander. Okay, let's talk about Willie because Willie's got a point in every game this year. He's currently on pace for 147 points. How long does he keep that up, CP? What do you think?
I mean, every star player has their droughts, whether you're William Nylander or Connor McDavid. Like, you're not always going to be scoring. So, but I think this is you need to have these stretches so you can maybe get to that 100-point potential that everyone really talks about of being a really elite player. And so I think he's well on his way to that. 147, definitely not going to get there. But I think he's pushing for 100, and I've liked what I see. And he's also controlling the ice. It's not like he's just getting these easy tap-ins. He's doing it all.
Well, like, the Leafs always suck in October, right? They usually do anyways, right? They're like mid, right? They go 5-5. I mean, they have for like 4 years in a row anyways.
I think they were
but
2-7.
in November every year, right? In November every year, they're good. So if Willie is good all the way through October and then they hit the stretch where the team ramps up and everybody's good and Willie's still putting up points, his pace might go even higher. And he might hit a drought, but I think you're right. I think he's definitely well on his way to 100 points. I think he's probably in his mind, that's one of his goals for this year. Because you know it's a contract year. You know he wants to be a 100-point player when he goes to get that cake. So
yeah, you can get that Marner money.
Yeah. Marner money. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And here's a guy we talked about a little earlier in the show, Nick Robertson. He scored 2 goals for the Toronto Marlies of the AHL against the Charlotte Checkers on Sunday, putting him at 3 goals and 3 assists in 6 games. So solid, great numbers. How long before he's traded? What do you think, Webby?
I know. I put that in there.
That's good.
How long before he's traded? I think this feels like a mid-November trade year for the Leafs. I feel like this is one of those years where they just know they're going to need something. And Nick Robertson is definitely one of the people that could be on the wire. And if he keeps producing like this, they're going to give him a shot in the NHL. You know they're going to before they get rid of him, right? Because they're not just going to make a trade and give away a start. This was the year he blossomed, and literally as he blossomed, we just gave him away for a third-line center because that's what we needed. Imagine going to the cup final, the conference final, and all you got was a third-line center for Nick Robertson, who goes out and scores 40 next year and plays on the top line.
Hey, if it gets us to a cup final, I'd be totally happy with that. And I thought
cup,
this is where you were going earlier.
We need guys, right? You need guys. He's cheap. You need a guy who's cheap. You can't.
We don't need a guy like that.
If you're going to score 40, what if he's the... So I'm saying they're going to give him a shot. He's going to come out of the AHL. They're going to give him a shot. And then if he doesn't crack the lineup after this shot, he's going to get traded. So, when does that happen? How many more games is Fraser Minton going to get scratched? Because he gets 9. Are they going to play him the whole 9? Maybe they're going to go 5. And, maybe you should just send the kid down, right? But I don't know how long this kid's going to be here. Maybe he just never goes down. Maybe Nicky Bobby's traded from the AHL. But I'm saying I think that they're going to give him a shot to see if they have a player one more time, and then they'll go ahead. And if he doesn't really make it, he can't really fit, they're going to trade him. He's going to go somewhere. I think maybe that'll be mid-end of November. So in the next few weeks here, we're going to see.
Yeah, I don't even think he gets the shot because that's been the problem every other time is you call him up and he gets hurt and that's the end of it. Or he just doesn't look good. And I think that he's a guy that can really dominate in the AHL. So you take advantage of that. You let him just rack up as many points and you hit this sweet spot of where because his value is nothing at the moment. Or maybe it's a 4th-round pick, but maybe if he keeps doing this until the middle of November, it's worth something, and then you can pull the trigger. But I think this is a sooner rather than later trade. I'm not sure they take the risk of waiting until the trade deadline because this isn't Brad Treliving's guy either. This guy's new to Brad Treliving. He says, Nicky Bobby who? Like he meets him for the first time. He goes, oh yeah, okay, he's a scorer, but I don't think much of him. And I, as Brad Treliving, like a tough team. Like he's way too small. There's no spot in the top 6 for him, at least for his type of player. And there's other guys down there that I would bring up just that they could run out a 4th or a 3rd line role. I just don't see a spot for him. And I'd rather them just trade him while his value's highest as an AHL player and not take the risk. But I could totally see them going the other way too. So.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine? He just goes to another team and he's amazing, and you're just like, And maybe he just goes to another team. We get great, 3rd line center, and he's worth a 3rd line center, and maybe it all works out in the end. But on the other side, we have to speculate. So
yeah.
I think
that's what we do.
I think there'll be a trade in the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So I think we'll see that.
I would love that.
For sure. Okay. So you guys got any rapid fire thoughts on the Leafs?
Yeah, I think my biggest thing about the weekend, I love to see Domi going. He was moving his legs. There was actually a point in the broadcast where there was a play where Domi wasn't moving his feet. He just chucked the puck over by the bench, did a nothing play. The broadcaster brought it up, and then from that point forward, he used his leg. It's almost like he had a little earbud listening to the broadcast because, and then he started moving. I loved everything he was doing. And like Sheldon Keefe said, even without the points, I thought he at least looked good. So big improvement from Domi this weekend.
Okay, big improvement from Domi. What's yours, Jordan? You got any rapid fire thoughts?
No, all my stuff went into the lineup. That was all my thoughts. But
I liked it. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, Domi was way better. It was nice to see. I think Domi and Nyes is a good combination. I'd like to see more of it.
That's a good one there. Domi and Nyes, good combo. There we go. Thanks, boys. Flipping into Avs?
Why don't I take us over and we'll flip into some Avs news.
Do it.
So, the Colorado Avalanche played a game on the weekend, too. The Toronto Maple Leafs aren't the only hockey team in the universe, even though CP and I might think so sometimes.
What?
I know.
They're the only jerseys on my wall.
I know. Not like Ted. Ted's got everybody's jersey.
Yeah.
So, the Avs, they played this weekend. They played Carolina, the Hurricanes. Then they won 6-4. What a game that was. That was very much fun to listen to.
Yeah.
And I want to start first off, Logan O'Connor.
Yeah. Okay. Listen to this.
Bunting, near side wall, down to the corner. 1:10 to go in the power play. D'Angelo again. Marty Necas spins clear. Gets the pass back at the hash marks, taken away. Cogliano has got Logan O'Connor. Guess what? Short-handed breakaway. O'Connor, he did it! He did it! He scores! 3 straight games with a short-handed goal for Logan O'Connor. OC's scoring, baby! Absolutely incredible. Only one Avalanche Nordiques player has done that 3 straight games before, and that was Joe Sakic in October of 1998. Now Logan O'Connor is right next to Super Joe in Avalanche history.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
A specimen.
Yeah.
3 goals, shorthanded. 3 goals in 3 straight games is impressive. From a kid that we didn't expect it from. 3 shorthanded goals in 3 games is off the charts. That's unbelievably amazing. Like if he's in anybody's points league right now, he's probably just getting mad points. Like shorthanded goals have to be worth so freaking much. Anyways,
yeah, honestly, yeah.
Totally.
Connor McKay, he's amazing, isn't he? Like,
what a call!
Just
every time I hear his calls, that's just so good.
Yeah, he's the best.
And you know what the
also,
best
an
thing
interview.
is you can't demonetize us because we don't make any money off the show. We bring all of this content to you for free.
That's right.
Because we love you.
That's right.
That's right. And this interview, too, from Altitude, same thing. Logan O'Connor, this is a great interview. I wanted to play this, too, talking about him tying this record with Super Joe.
3 games, 3 consecutive shorthanded goals for you, Logan. Ties a franchise record with Joe Sakic. What the heck are you eating for breakfast?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the puck's just bouncing my way there. I mean, Cogs is making great plays. Georgia on the penalty kill is doing a great job. So it's nice to find the back of the net there again.
We know the importance of depth scoring, getting Olofsson on the board, that fourth line contribution. How valuable is that?
It's huge. I think our best players in goaltending is going to give us a chance to win every night. And if we can contribute offensively, that's even going to increase our chances. So it's good to see Ole get that goal there.
The coach switches up the lines after they get those two quick ones. But what are you guys saying and doing in that moment to flip the tide back in your favor?
I think just continue to use their speed, get above pucks, get in on the forecheck quickly. I think they're air-mailing a lot of pucks when we're trying to forecheck them. So the quicker we can get on them, limit it, get in the neutral zone, that'd be huge for us.
Thanks, Logan. Good luck in the third. 3 games, 3
So, yeah, it was
3 games, 3 consecutive.
Pucks, eh?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, really, they went out. The second was crazy. The second period, like they were talking about there, it was crazy. He got that goal. There was I think there was how many goals in the second? I want to say 4 or 5 goals just in the second period. Everything happened in the second. That whole game happened in the second period. It felt like, but yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. And we're up all night to get lucky again. 4 points from Arturi Lehkonen. A goal and 3 assists. Holy. Let's listen to Mr. Connor McKahey again with the Lecky goal call. We love this.
Yeah.
Carolina will clear. Georgiev slows it up behind his own net. Cale Makar will trot out to the blue line. Makar keeps it himself. Up the right flank, Makar's got a man in the middle. Makar stick handling, what a move. Makar back door, Johansson shot, rebound, score! We're up all night to get lucky. And oh my goodness, Cale Makar continues to be more of a wizard than Merlin. What a play to get it all going. Lehkonen finishes it off after Johansson took the shot. He just guided it into the net, but it's the vision and the skill of Cale Makar that made it all happen. Arturi Lehkonen has put the Avs back in front. It's 4-3 Colorado. To quote the great James Mason, that last play defies my powers of description from Cale Makar. Carolina will clear.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
So he's going on about Cale Makar, but it was a whole team effort, right? It took everybody for that one. But are you up all night for this song, Ted?
Yeah, man, I love that. That's my favorite thing. I'm up all night. Up all night to get lucky, for sure.
And you have him in fantasy too, don't you?
I do. Yeah, I drafted him. He was I think 11th round. I picked him up, and it seemed crazy at the time, but he is trending upwards in
a big way
right now. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. So there was lots of, like you said, team effort for sure. Lots of points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lots of guys.
Yeah, there was 2 points from Mac, Cale, and LOC. One of the newest Avs, second line, Ryan Johansson, the centerman.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was nice.
Miko had a goal. Val,
the Moose,
Cogs, and Bo with an apple each. The whole team scored. It's just like Georgiev had 3 assists, and I'm just kidding. He actually had 3 assists. But former Dallas Star and the Avs' new fourth line center, Fredrik Golofsson, had a goal early in the game. Just his second NHL goal ever, but man, it looks slick.
Yeah, check this out. Another Connor McGahey call coming in right here.
Don't do us, Connor.
19 straight kills is a franchise record to start a season. Now here comes Freddie Olofsson down low. He scores! Olofsson, more like Golofsson. His first with the Avalanche. Welcome to the Mile High City, or welcome back, we should say, Freddie. 7:39 to go in the second, and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this is a tie hockey game. He went high on Kochetkov and hit that inner crossbar, underneath and out. Perfectly placed shot by Freddie Olofsson, the former Dallas Star. He's the star of the show at the moment. And Colorado knots it at 3 with 7:39 to go in period 2.
Yeah, honestly, it was. I don't know if you watched the highlight at all, but that goal looked like that man scored like 200 goals in the NHL or more. Like it didn't look like anyone's second NHL goal ever. It was slick.
Right. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, I didn't watch it actually. I only listened to it because I was listening on the radio to it. But
well, it's worth it when you got.
There's
Connor
no way to
McGahey.
watch it here unless you steal it, and I'm not a thief. I don't steal things. I mean, maybe on the internet sometimes for movies, but like I don't know a reliable source where I won't get a virus and somebody will hack into my computer. I just know sites like www.givemeyourpasswords.com. I don't go there because they're like, we will give you free streams if you give us all your credit card information. I'm like, that's not free.
It's not worth it.
They're like, no, we swear to God it is. But so I can't watch it on the TV, but I can watch. I can listen to it on the radio here in Kingston, Ontario.
Yes.
So, with all of everybody getting the points, Lehkonen and his 4.
Yeah.
Do you think Lekkonen's going to be living up on the top line? Do you think they should switch the lines around? What combination do you think is going to be good? And where does Druin land?
Right. So, yeah, Lehkonen top line. I think that's official right now. RotoWire and Daily Face-Off showing Lehkonen up on the top line. It looks like they did that midway through the second anyways. I think that's going to stick for a while, especially if he keeps up this production. But they were also showing Rantanen down on the second line. So they've got Mac, Lehkonen, and Nichushkin, I believe, up on the top line. And then the second line, Rantanen on the right with Johansson. And I believe they moved up Tatar, and then they've got Drouin down on that third line. That was, and
moving down.
Yeah, trending downwards a little bit, yeah. So I think that seems like a fair place. As much as I loved that third line, Colton, Tatar, and Miles Wood, I mean, we'll try shaking it up because we haven't seen a ton of offense from Ross Colton yet. If any, I don't think he's scored as an Av yet. Tatar has been kind of on and off. I think a shakeup might actually be good for that. So I'm thinking Drouin on the third, Lecky on the top line. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that makes sense, especially if they can get going with Drouin. I mean, he's a minimum player, right? So like, there's no loss.
Exactly.
Wherever he plays, he can play in the fourth. I'm like, he makes nothing. He makes like $900K.
He could play on the Eagles too.
Yeah.
And that's fine too. That wouldn't even hurt them. Like that's the best thing about it. He could send him down and just bury his contract if it doesn't work out. So Drouin's is playing with house money right now, and he's gonna make. And I don't think he's on a 2-way contract. He's probably on a 1, so he's making his money no matter where he goes.
Yeah,
so pay me $900K to go down to the A. Like whatever.
Yeah. It's also too like the Avs weren't relying on this guy to fill a spot, right? Like this is a team that's about at its peak of performance around the league, and they didn't need Drouin to make it better. So it's just one of those things where you shuffle the guys up and you end up filling that role maybe with someone with a little more grit if that's the way they go. But yeah,
great point for sure.
Yeah, you need grit.
I'm the old guy around here. I think I always grit's always the answer.
Soft, so I know that you don't. Everybody says you need the grit. Yeah, the grit. Yeah.
It's not all expected goals. You know?
I don't know how far you are, but it's great.
Yeah, we won't do no spoilers. Yeah,
but it's great. Yeah. It's the grit. It's all about the grit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways. A couple of people called up, sent down. Corey Schooneman.
Yep.
Schooneman. Yep. Where does he fit? And Noonan sent down to the Eagles in the transaction, I'm assuming. And Prosvetstov listed as the Avs' current backup.
Yeah. So Schooneman, where does he fit? I'm going to tell you right now that I think Bo Byram is going to sit a few games and figure some stuff out. Because Bo has had a really rough start. He's looked out of place. Bednar even said it in interviews. He looked kind of out of step, I think was his quote. He got an assist, like we said, in that game against Carolina. But, I mean, everyone was on the score sheet. He didn't really, do anything special. And he's taken a lot of penalties, like an uncharacteristic amount of penalties in the first 5 games. So I think... I don't know if I don't think Schooneman's going to step into his place. It'll be a bit of a shuffle. But they had already kind of split up that second pair in that game. They had Byram playing with Johnson. He was already kind of pushed around a bit. I think they're going to sit him. He needs to give his head a shake or something. Like, we love Bo Byram. We don't want to push him and have something go wrong or have another injury if he, tries to get back in step on the wrong step and steps on someone's step and steps a step, and the whole thing. So we don't want to see Bo injured is the thing. We want to see him get back into his game, give him the right amount of time he needs. And I think Schoeneman's going to step in, maybe play like on the third line D.
It's shocking too, because I think almost everybody had him as pegged as like the guy that would take the next step for the Avalanche, right? This guy that's only had injuries get in his way from being like a top 4 defenseman. So I'm not sure anyone really saw this one coming, but yeah, he's had a rough go.
Yeah. I think so. And then Annunen, obviously, Annunen. Good. Put him on the Eagles. I don't mind. He's okay, but let's give this other kid a chance. We'll see. Prosvetov. We'll see what he can do. I like it. Why not? I didn't like that we didn't have Frankie anyway, so let's try something else.
Yeah.
But I think that's all the stuff we got on the Avs. As far as transactions, the game, I was happy with this weekend. If I got one rapid fire for one rapid fire thought for the Avs this weekend, it's whoop whoop. That's it.
Whoop whoop. All right, so we have some juicy France news.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so like every good story, we have to start at the beginning. The Kingston Frontenacs capped off the weekend with a 4-3 win over the Owen Sound Attack at the Harry Lumley Bayshore Community Center. That sounds great, right? It's all great. Matthew Soto's 2 first-period power play goals helped propel the Frontenacs to a 4-3 win on the road in Owen Sound. The victory helped the Kingston Frontenacs improve to 4-7-0-0 on the season and ended a 4-game losing streak. This all sounds great. Mason Vachari was solid in net for the Frontenacs all game. Mason stopped 14 of 15 shots in the third period and finished the game with 32 saves to backstop the Frontenacs to a 4-3 win.
Still sounds good.
The leaders on the team, that all sounds great. It's like, I don't see the bad thing. The leaders on the team for points are Christopher Thibodeau and Ethan, I think Medema. Les, the France, they each have 9 points in 11 games. Tied for 43rd in OHL scoring. Also tied with Leafs prospect Easton Cowan, who has 9 points in 6 games.
Wow.
So they're not going, they don't have the people, right? For reference, Hunter Bruzuskevich, an 18-year-old American defenseman who was a third-round pick of the Vancouver Canucks in this year's 2023 draft. He is a leading OHL scorer with 20 points in 10 games.
Wow.
So the France, here's the bad. They don't have the stars, and they've let in 8 goals, 4 goals, 6 goals, 6 goals, and 3 goals in their last 5 games. 3 ain't bad, but 8, 4, 6, 6 ain't good.
Yeah.
So not being off to a good start, the Frontenacs apparently fired their coach.
Yeah, that just happened. We just found that out before we started recording. Oh, man.
Huge. Oh, my gosh. So I'm going to read right out of the blurb. Kingston Frontenac's general manager, Corey Cooper, has announced Monday that head coach Luca Caputi has been relieved of his duties. A quote from Cooper reads, "Today was a difficult day coming to this decision to relieve Luca of his duties. After meeting with ownership, we believe this was a necessary move for this hockey club. We have extremely high expectations for the group we have in place, and we want to provide them with every opportunity to be successful," said Cooper. Luca Caputi led the Frontenacs to a 72-67-5-3 record during his time behind the bench in Kingston, who are currently sitting 7th in the OHL's Eastern Conference. So not good enough over the time he's been there.
No.
They're not good enough now, and then they're doing what every team does first before they actually try and get good players. They fire the coach.
Yeah, no, I think it's been a long time kind of coming. From what I read, I always read the comments on these things when these things come out from the team, and a lot of Kingstonians, France fans, are saying this is kind of the move they've been wanting for a while, and think it's the right time. The right, maybe could have been even earlier, but at least they've done it now.
Yeah, they've done it now, and I wonder, is it like I was on Vichari's side. I love Mason; he's a great goalie, but 8, 6, 6, 4. Those aren't great numbers, kid. But I mean, like, how's the defense? Is the defense horrible?
Yeah.
The team is kind of young. I don't really know what they were expecting from them, but they need stars. They need stars if they're going to be good, right? And maybe they're just developing kids. Maybe we'll see a bunch of kids come out of Kingston and they're going to be more of a developmental, make them better program, trade them to better teams later kind of thing. Who knows? But there's not very much... I mean, the kids are great, right? These kids are great at hockey. They destroy me. But...
Right.
Yeah.
But the point is that they're just not the best in their league, right? There's a whole bunch of other teams with a whole bunch of better players right now. That could change, like I said, because these kids are so young. So let's give it 3 months and we'll see what happens.
For sure.
Did you guys know that Luca Caputi played 26 games for the Leafs?
Yeah.
I did not know that. No.
I did know he was Leafs legend, yes.
Yeah, he also played 9 for the Penguins. So yeah, I didn't even realize that he played for the Leafs. I think I knew that he was an NHL player because I looked it up, saw that, but I had no idea that he'd played for my team.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the Kingston Frontenacs will be in action this upcoming Friday, October 27th for Hockey Fights Cancer Night to take on visiting Oshawa Generals before heading to Mississauga to play the Steelheads on Saturday, October 28th. See, they still get to do those nights where they celebrate things like Hockey Fights Cancer. Gary Bettman.
Yeah.
That's
you. Awful. It's just a reminder of all of the things not going right in the NHL, but I'm glad they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think we still got a little bit of time here, so why don't we talk about Travis Dermott?
Sure.
It's right on topic for it. So Travis Dermott, let's start at the beginning, like every good story does. So there was a big bang, okay?
Oh,
and then
we're starting at the real beginning.
I'm just kidding. So, anyways, so Travis Dermott, he is using Pride tape, and the NHL banned Pride tape a few weeks ago. So he goes out of his way, a guy who isn't a star, but he's a fringe player. He goes out of his way to put this on his stick and not worry about the fines because he knows, like everybody else knows, that there's going to be trouble if that comes out. And now it's publicly shown. We have a couple of pictures here. And of note, with Travis Dermott, Chris Johnston posted this, using the Pride tape against the league regulations today in the Coyotes game. When Dermott showed support for Pride on his Instagram in February, the NHL account supported him. So let's see how they backpedal on this. It is against the rules, but and I guess you can do what you want on your own time. We also might like your party picture, but we're not going to condone that you drink alcohol on the ice. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a twist on it like that, but you have to wonder, how do you flip like that? Like you're on one side supporting it, and on one side you're going to give trouble. I wonder if anything comes of it. I still haven't heard anything from it. So we'll see what happens.
I'm proud of Dermott. He obviously didn't flip. Like it was pointed out that it's not like he switched to using Pride tape. He's always been using it. This is something he's always stood behind. It's always been on his stick all through the regular season, even if it's just a little wrap up by the handle. But it means something to him, obviously, and it's a travesty that the NHL's... I'm not sure if they're going to make a stink out of this. I sure hope not, though, because there'll be a lot of backlash coming their way.
Yeah, well, we love Travis Dermott. I love Travis Dermott. I mean, I'm glad that he went and still made the league elsewhere because the Spinorama ruined that man's name and the sight of him
a little bit
for all of us. I'll never forget that. Like, I will literally never forget that. And he spins, and all of a sudden, that's a shocker for all you there on the radio. I said nothing. I just fell backwards because nothing. Touching my face,
speechless.
Upset and sad, speechless, terrible, horrible. But yeah, I'm glad for Travis Dermott. Go him. Hopefully other players do it too. Because it's kind of silly that you being told you can't do something so small to represent. It doesn't affect anybody. It's not like a jersey. It's not like he's going to stand out too much. He should be able to use the tape.
Yeah.
100%.
The tape's just too far and too much, too silly.
For sure. It says right in the rule book that you can use
yeah.
whatever tape you want. You know?
Yeah, it's silly. It shouldn't matter. Okay, boys. We ready to do what the puck is happening around here?
Sure am.
There's
yeah.
lots of things going on around the league. Like I said earlier, the Leafs aren't the only team that play hockey. They're just the only team I care about. Just kidding. I love this game so much, and I'm so addicted to it. I can't not pay attention to everything and everybody in it, and just want to know who's going to win and what that concoction is going to be. You know, as a fan, I feel like I'm going to figure it out just by watching, just like, you know, that outside eye.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you're not in here. You guys are all too involved. It's me. I know. I've been watching this for years. So, anyways, that's kind of. I'm a fanalist. All right, that's what I am. So let's get into next. I believe we had a viewer requested.
Yeah.
Justin Hall is leading the league in plus minus right now.
Yeah. What?
I mean, isn't that the leafiest leafy thing you've ever heard of? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Talk about right place, right time or something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he was plus 5 in his last game. So leading up to this, he was not on this chart. And I think it's also a case of that he's obviously not as bad as Leafs Nation made him out to be. They always pick one person to be the punching bag for the team, and he was the guy. And he was misplaced in his role because now he plays with Ben Sherratt. And
Just wait. Yeah, oh, you have all my faith in the whole world now, Ben Sherratt. Yeah,
he's a stay-at-home defenseman, and that's not what Justin Hall was, and that's what they tried to make him. You know, and he just can't help himself but jump up. You got to consider him more like a John Klingberg.
He needs a babysitter. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ben
he
Sherratt,
needs a
I guess,
babysitter. Yeah, but he's
Pair
got
of
one.
$7 million on that line.
Yeah, that's rough. I mean, if they're going to be plus 5 forever, then
What are
that's
they,
fine.
a third pairing? Like, Justin Hall was healthy this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's maybe also like if you look at the list here that he's on, he's definitely out of place. Like I'm not trying to argue that like he's the next coming of Makar here, right? But
no, Cale Makar is trash. He's only plus 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's right behind him.
He's no Justin Hall.
Yeah, he's no Justin
Cale
Hall.
Makar is good, but like, he's not Justin Hall.
Right.
Maybe he will be in a couple of days. Like, we'll see. Things happen. But not today. Justin Hall's the man right now, apparently.
Yeah, I'd like to point out the viewer that pointed this out and wanted us to talk about it as a Habs fan. So it's also a slight dig as a Habs fan to us as Leafs.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, just wait. It won't last. Don't worry. Give him a couple games. He'll find the minus. There'll be dashes next to his name. No problem. Justin Hall, -9. Yeah, that'll be what, 2 weeks?
That'd be a rough 2 weeks.
We know the player. 8 games? I mean, 8 games. He gets 9 goals scored on him in 8 games. 2 goals a game.
Well, yeah,
That's
he's
Justin
plus
Hall.
9.
He's plus 9.
To be minus.
To be minus 9. Yeah, you have to 18
games. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
We're getting a little
9
out
games.
of hand.
Over 9 games. 2 goals over 9 games. It'd be 18 goals.
So he's
So
on
he'd be
every
so he'd be a -9.
game.
Yeah,
He's on for 2 goals.
Yeah, it's from 2.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, and they
yeah.
get scored on like 3 or 4 times. I don't know. Detroit's really good right now. Like,
Unreal.
Who saw that
They're hot.
coming?
Yeah,
Not
they're
me. Yeah.
Detroit's
They're really.
unbelievable, yeah. Do you
We
think
should
it's
have
gonna
known
last?
by them on the going at the free agency. Like they were obviously going for it this year. They decided that this was the time to get better. All right, they're something else right now.
I thought their free agency was weird.
I thought it was too, but I don't know. The results.
yeah.
It's small sample size, but so far it's looking good.
Yeah.
So I was talking about overpaid players. I don't really think any of these guys we'd call overpaid because they're so loved.
Okay.
But the highest paid players for this season.
Yes.
Do you know who the highest paid player for this season is?
I do
Ted?
right off. Yeah,
It's
right
Nathan
away.
McKinnon.
Yeah.
Do you know how much he makes? You can probably see it right in front of you. It's $17.5 million this year. He makes $16.5 million on ice money and $1 million in endorsements. So that doesn't include his endorsements for anybody going, well, what about his? Yeah, no,
Right.
that's included. So all the money that he takes home this year, $17.5 million.
Woo! Yeah.
The next in line is Alex Ovechkin, who has a $12.5 million salary, but also takes home $17.5 million. He's got a $5 million endorsement deal. I'm looking here, I'm like, oh yeah, play in Toronto. You're going to make so much money in endorsements. Connor McDavid, $5 million playing in Edmonton. I mean, he's the best player in the league.
It's
but
McDavid,
like,
but I know what you mean.
Okay, but like, let's look next. I mean, I guess they're not the highest salaries because Matthew's not making the highest salary, but like, the endorsement deals, are they making just under? They made 4.5. So, you know what I mean? Like, cause I feel like Matthews would be in there. The lowest salary is $12.2 million. Okay. Now, I guess maybe his salary. That's the thing.
I was gonna say
maybe.
Yeah.
So all
He's
these
not
guys
getting
are teams who are actually having to pay the whole salary because the Leafs will sign these weird contracts where they're like, we'll give you $300 million today and $6 for the rest of the year. And they're like, okay. And they take it. And that's what happens. They're like, $6 next year too. Like, sold, sign that. All right. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous how the Leafs structure these contracts. So I guess that's why they're not on there. But all I'm seeing is like, I guess you don't need to be in Toronto to make good money in endorsements. Like,
yeah, but if you looked off this list, so like I bet you like Max Domi, for guys making his salary, he's gonna blow the rest of the people out of the water on how much they make on endorsements. Like, this isn't just about the top of the guys, right? And I think if you saw Matthews on this list, he's probably making more than all of them in endorsements. It's just like you said, he's probably making $1 million in salary otherwise because he got it all paid in the first year.
So that would make sense. Yeah, he could be making like $10 million in salary. It just makes so much sense or $10 million endorsements. Sorry, it doesn't. Yeah, he's probably. And you're right, guys like Max Domi, like Achari showed up here and he got a commercial with. Like Christie or something. Like, he had a cookie commercial. Like, or Tim Hortons, I think it was a cookie commercial. Like, he's straight up.
Yeah. He's
Freddie Gauthier got a commercial deal. Like, that guy.
I know. Like,
yeah,
unbelievable. You come to, I guess, you come to Toronto, you do make that endorsement money. But the highest paid players on this list: Nathan McKinnon's number 1, Alex Ovechkin's number 2, Connor McDavid's number 3, David Pasternak making $13.6 million this year. 13.8 million this year. I may need glasses. Kirill Kaprizov is making 13 million this year. Dougie Hamilton 12.7. Seth Jones 12.6. Then Pietrangelo, Fox, Meyer, Werenski are all making big dollars too. Over $12 million in actual salary, and a bunch of them are making less than $500,000 in endorsements.
Yeah.
So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
But I
I'm
mean,
even surprised about the Nathan McKinnon only having $1 million in off-ice endorsements.
Yeah, for being up there, like the guys that are around there. I mean, for him to make $16.5 million on ice salary this year, he could be like, there could be a huge gap between him and the next guy. But
can you imagine how big your paycheck would be each month?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
every
really.
2 weeks or whatever you get.
Every 2 weeks, you're just like, woo!
That number goes in your bank. You're like, oh my Lord!
Like, whoa! Yeah.
That's where I just couldn't be able to control my own bank account at that point.
I know.
Unbelievable amounts of money. It's so crazy. Anyways, sad news. Connor McDavid out 1 to 2 weeks with an upper body injury. That's sad for me because he's
you have
my fantasy team first overall pick, and like, you never want that to happen.
No.
I mean, I'd say it's good news because it could have been 4 to 6 months. You know, like every time a star player gets an injury, I'm always thinking like, okay, this is good news because it's only a couple weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple weeks, yeah. And hopefully he comes back strong and he scores another, because like, and now he's gonna play hurt all year, and like, great, I should have picked Austin Matthews. Right? That's
Okay.
what it's gonna be.
Let's not go too far
100%
here.
gonna be that.
Don't worry. No,
I
I've
did it
seen
last year, and I still came second.
I know.
It's all about the playoffs, boys. It doesn't matter how good you are in the regular season.
Just get in the playoffs.
Just gotta make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Anyways, so Rasmus Anderson was suspended 4 games for charging Patrick Laine the other night. And
Right.
the hit, I think we can see it. Ted, I think you should screen share it because I can't quite remember it, and we should talk about it. But the Rasmus Anderson hit, I thought was, he blew him up, whatever, but I've seen way more aggressive hits. And I think that maybe this is some sort of precedent that is being set for this year. And I wonder if that's changing because, we can listen and watch to the video here. But I don't really know how terrible it actually is.
Yeah, I mean, I would be in agreement that they're trying every year that they're a lot stiffer on things, even like suspensions. But I think that they need to be. I think I'm always mad every time there's a suspension that it's not long enough. So if that's the way they're going, I'm not going to argue with them.
I'm just saying I've seen a lot of hits last year. Not so much this year. It's only been a few games, but the precedent normally were a lot of big hits that weren't suspended 4 games. Rasmus Anderson doesn't have a history, which they outlines in the video.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right here, and like he leaves his feet, which is like a big part of it, and it almost looks like he's targeting the head, and I think that's always the big part of it is the targeting. If like he's looking right at him. It's not like this is like 2 guys in between. You didn't see him coming. He's intending to hit him. He goes up high, and he kind of isolates the head. So,
yeah, I've got the clip here.
His argument was that he was low. Yeah.
Oh, he's low. Okay. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see the Department of Player Safety video? Okay. Here we go.
They're brutal, but they're great.
Score out of reach. Laine collects the puck from a teammate as Anderson tracks from the neutral zone. As Laine sends the puck down the ice towards the empty net, Anderson launches upward into Laine, elevating unnecessarily and making significant contact to Laine's head with his elbow, causing an injury. This is charging.
So bad.
It is discharging. Probably acknowledge the argument that Laine is low as he sends the puck down the ice. This is not a case in which a sudden movement by Laine turns an otherwise legal check into an illegal one. Laine is low as Anderson approaches the hit, and Anderson still chooses to elevate into the hit, launching off the ice through contact rather than staying low and making contact with Laine's core. It is this unnecessary upward movement that causes Anderson's elbow to drive into Laine's head with force. This launch, the force of the hit, and the game circumstances under which the hit was thrown combined to elevate this hit to the level of supplemental discipline. To summarize,
this is so brutal.
Laine suffered an injury on the play. Anderson has been fined once during his 382-game NHL career. The Department of Player Safety has suspended Rasmus Anderson for 4 games.
4? I thought that was a lot. I thought maybe like 1 or 2. Like it's
I mean,
fine. You never.
Did we just watch the same video? I was gonna say, give them 5,
just saying,
give them 6.
Okay, I'm not saying what I think they should get.
Right,
I'm saying based on the precedent of what I've seen given out.
Yeah,
right?
That is true. I will agree with you there. It's the more you watch it, though, it's like he came around that corner. He was looking right at Rasmus Anderson, and he went for the head. It looks like so.
Oh yeah.
He's having a meeting with Bettman, so he wants less. I don't know if he's getting less.
So brutal, man.
Yeah.
Poor Patrick Laine.
Yeah.
So poor Patrick Laine leads us into Jets thoughts, and I just wanted to drop this sad little bit of news that Rick Bonus's wife isn't doing well. She's in the hospital right now. She suffered a seizure, and I just like to give shout out in the hockey world that we think about that stuff and we care about you. So
Yeah.
hope that your family gets better, Rick Bonus.
Yeah.
Lots of people care. There are good people all over the place, and we worry about stupid crap like other people's families and hope that they're all good. So I do.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big, worth mentioning for sure. And positive vibes coming from us, and I'm sure everyone in the hockey world. Quick note on that: the guy stepping into his role for the Jets, Scott Arniel, Kingston guy, Scott Arniel.
Oh, Kingston guy, Scott Arniel. Cool.
Look at that.
Kingston
There you go.
guy. I don't know who that is, but cool.
Me
Kingston
neither.
guy, Scott Arniel.
There you go.
Yeah, I love that.
Former NHLer.
Former
Yeah.
NHLer Kingston guy, Scott Arniel. That's a long name, but we'll give it to him.
We like it.
He must
Yeah.
be really worth it. Former
Yeah, I hope he
NHLer
takes-
Kingston guy.
Yeah, I hope Bonus takes some time too, because a lot of the time
Yeah.
people rush back from this, and like if it was me, like take the year
Stay
if you
with your
need to,
family.
you know, like
Do what you gotta
take
do.
as much time, even if it's a positive recovery and everything. Like, you know, sometimes you got to think of family first, right? It's not all about
Hey,
hockey.
just spin it too, but the Jets are kind of a dumpster fire. So like,
I wanted to say it, so
whatever. Sue me. Whatever. Everybody already hates me on the internet. I'm soft and nobody likes my fucking opinion. So like, whatever. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck you. Doing all this for me and for you two, because nobody else will talk hockey with me, and I got lots to say.
Yes.
So-
you be you, buddy. You be you.
Yeah.
Fucking right. So
right. We
you
love
sent me a text today, a message to the group
Yeah.
chat. It wasn't to me. And you said, "Wish CJAI was a Leaf." Sent us a YouTube video of him roughing up Corey Perry.
That was so funny.
My thoughts was, do you think the Leafs need a Ryan Reeves, Arbor CJAI archetype for the defense? Because they keep putting him on forward, but what about a guy on the defense that does this? Like, what about two of them? One on the second and the third.
What about
You know
three?
I mean? Yeah, I mean, both on the third. You need somebody on the third to move the puck. Like,
Yeah.
right? So, like,
I mean-
you put one on the second and the third, right? You need somebody who can kind of move the puck better than the other one. But, like, Crab and Goyle, like, I mean, you put one up top and one down, right? Harry Potter, you know? No. All right. Anyways, you get those guys. And you just
Right.
set one of the big dumb idiots, and then up on the third, and one of the big dumb idiots on the fourth. And like, I'm sorry to call them big dumb idiots, but like, you understand the picture when I say it. They're going to kill you, and they would kill me if they knew who the hell it was, and anybody actually listened to this shit. So they don't. And we're not going to probably hear about it. And if they do, holy shit, I was just joking. I swear to God, I'm fucking
Yeah.
around.
I mean, I hope CJAI comes and knocks on your door. That'd be cool.
But do you think the Leafs need a guy like that on the defense?
You know,
And who
one
could it
thing
be?
that, yeah, like one thing, the only, I loved it just because, like, not at one point did Corey Perry get the better of CJAI. But then there's the point of, like, CJAI is actually a defenseman that Montreal relies on. So I think Corey Perry kind of won that instance because he got to go off with him, you know, so that's kind of part of Corey Perry's thing is take off the other guy's good players, where a guy like Reeves, you don't have to worry about that. So I do worry, like, when it's a defenseman, that's an important part of your team. You know, your fourth line guy, you can just, it doesn't matter if he's not out there for 5 minutes. So that'd be my only concern about having like a true tough guy as a defenseman. But I loved every minute of CJAI, and especially him being so young and just like wasn't having any of it, you know. And even at the end, gave him a little sucker punch to the jaw, which was great.
You know what you need? I just figured it out. So you need to take, like, I mean, he's great, but Noah Gregor, he can come off the team. Then we're going to play 11 and 7, and we're going to have a tough guy defenseman that comes in. And he's not Marcus Giordano sitting on there with the Connor Timmins when he comes back. It's going to be a tough guy. That tough guy's going to go out there. What he's going to do is he's going to fuck shit up, right? And then he's going to end up in the box, but it's fine. We still got 6D. We can still play
Yeah.
right? It's fine.
actually love
You go
this
and
idea.
Fight. Yeah, you go and fight, take another guy off. That's fine because, and you know what? Ted and I love this. We do this in Chell all the time. Is the fight worth it? So like you want to fight one of our plugs with one of your top line players or like somebody that's above, even like a third line player, and you're gonna fight a four. Fucking A, let's go her.
We'll take it.
Then I'm going to the box, you're going to the box, and then my team's in better shape. Like you're better, you're better on the ice than I am. So you might as well stay on the ice. But if you're willing to fight me, hell yeah, let's go her, and we'll sit in the box together. So like. That's kind of what you need. You need 11-7 mix so we can still have the 6 guys because you're still going to play 5-on-5 after a fight.
Yeah, and especially if you're only going to play your fourth line 6 minutes a night, like what's it matter if the other 3 lines just have to make up that third player? Like I actually love this idea because
and Ryan Reeves can still be there for his job on the forward because you still need him there.
You just need him and a centerman.
We just figured it out.
We just need to get rid of
Keefe.
Yeah, we should actually. This is a golden idea. Yeah. And also, Gio's getting older, so like having a 7th defenseman around, I don't want to take him out of the lineup because he's the heart and soul of this team, and he's probably the only guy that's willing to actually put his life on the line for the team. So like I don't want to get rid of him. So yeah, just lighten his minutes a little bit with a big tough defenseman. I actually like it.
Yeah. Smart stuff,
Makes
guys.
sense.
Look at this.
All right, should we media the media, boys?
Yeah, media.
All right, Ted, why don't you take us away and tell us who's asking us questions here? And we'll answer them.
We got a question this week from Dean Arbuckle. Okay, do you think Nyes belongs on the third line, or do you think he would fit in on a different one?
Do you think he'd fit in better on a different one? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the third line with that Domi third line thing, I think that worked out well. Yeah, I like him there a lot. Just because you can shelter him a little more. He just doesn't have to get exposed because like he's got to play more minutes. Well, let's give him his minutes. Let's try and get him up 14 minutes a game like he was playing last game, 15 minutes. But you have to shelter him. You can't make him go play against like Alex Ovechkin. Don't put that line out against Ovi's line, because that's going to be the top scoring line. Even if Ovi's lost a step, he's still Alex Ovechkin. He's still going to be playing with the best players in the team. So there's going to be 2 other NHLers that are good enough to play with Alex Ovechkin in the Washington Capitals front office size, playing out there against you. So you don't want to put a whole ton of minutes on Nyes and Domi on the third line. But yeah, I like him there.
I think the only reason that he's on the third line is because he's so young. Like he's by far, in my mind, the best left winger on the Leafs. Like I'm sorry, like someone might argue
you have to
that
spread
Bertuzzi,
it out, right? But it's not that he's so young. It's like he's just if you load up the top. I mean, you could, I guess, Carolina or
it's not like putting Willie up there though. Like it's putting Matthew Nyes, who's like a college left winger.
He's gonna be.
Yeah, he's gonna be awesome, and he's perfectly fit to play with top line players like Matthews and Marner. He's big, he's strong, he uses it, he digs in the corners. He's way faster than you would think for a guy that size. Like I think he's destined for the top line. It's just a matter of when. And maybe it's not even this year, but I'd say next year out of camp, that's what they're looking at. And I wouldn't be surprised if by Christmas, that's where he is.
Yeah. Well, Nyes, he tries. We wouldn't be surprised, and it's very nice.
Well, that makes sense.
Right?
All right. Well, I guess that's the end of our boys. So thanks, everybody, for listening. This is Split, the Defense Hockey Podcast, which we say once at the beginning and once at the end, but it's on the title, and if you found it, you know what it is already. So Split, the Defense. Hopefully they never figure out where that came from. We will catch everybody back on Thursday. There's probably a Leafs game because there's a Leafs game every fucking Monday and Thursday now. I guess that's how it works. We got to figure out better times because we record here at night. But we will catch you all Thursday. Come check us out.
I mean, Friday.
We
got used to Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yeah.
Tuesdays and Fridays are when the new shows come out.
We'll get used to it.
Tuesdays and Fridays, yeah. One day I'll get used to that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyways,
maybe next week. Yeah.
Good show, boys.
You too.
We'll do this again soon.
Peace.
See ya.
You've been listening to
Split the Defense,
where Jordan Webster, Ted Evans, and Craig Pearce talk about the NHL and all things hockey.
Split the Defense
Can be found wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. It's also broadcasted on Amherst Island Radio, 101.3 FM, and online at CJAI.CA.